This is a great kiva, no longer used by the Pueblo. Now, many of you I know have been to Mesa Verde, and you won't see this up in the cliffs. Well, it would be a little hard to put something this big up there. But if you get out away from the cliff dwellings, it will be an earlier period of time, and you will see something like this perhaps, and an above-ground pit house such as we have a lot of here. The Taos men say that as the small kivas are today, these great ones had religious things going on inside them. And they say that these are walking drums right here, these rectangular structures. This one should be finished if it's going to match those at Chaco, where there are dozens. They say that they would stretch animal skins or hides, sometimes wooden planks. The people would walk on those and make a resonant sound for their ceremony. Now, some archaeologists disagree with that. Remember that the Anasazi had no written language. And 1,000 years ago, we don't know what they were doing. We look at the Pueblo today and make certain statements, but you know how your own families have changed just in a generation. You're doing different things. Perhaps they were, perhaps they weren't. But that's what makes the study so fascinating, most of us think. But they the elders, make certain statements, and we pass those on. Now, this is the altar or fire pit in the center. Another use for these, some archaeologists think they may have germinated seeds. And a guide at Bandelier the other day said that maybe he just had an idea, and I loved it, that during the ceremonies, there is a lot of mystery, and the Kachinas, the men with beautiful costumes and masks on, which today they take on the spirit of the god when they're wearing that mask. It's a little complex, I didn't say it quite right, but that's basically what is happening. And possibly they laid down in those and raised up suddenly to give it more of a mystery. But again, he says that's just his opinion. The bench here, we call it a banquet. It should go all the way around. It's going to match other kivas. And it is thought that they placed religious items on those. We assume they sat on it to watch something, but today they sit or stand on the floor. This also suggests community. Every home would have a kiva or church. I use the word church when children are on the tour, and ministers, but those terms don't really, and priests don't really translate into a Christian or Jewish religion. But what we'd call a church, a kiva, they would, pardon? A shaman. That's more a Navajo term, but elder is more the term the Pueblo that we use to designate the religious leaders. And they would get 6 homes and 6 kivas and then build one of these, and it does suggest community. And women and children could go in out of the cold, for instance, if it were roofed. Those are now those stones came out of the 3 structures there, and they're also now rattlesnake bins, and walk carefully through the day. If you're not in Colorado now, you will know what I'm talking about. They did keep dogs for food. Were used for not food. They had made blankets out of them, and they also wove sandals out of yucca. Women's hair was used for belts and ropes and so forth. Guess you could only make one bell, but maybe only one bell a lifetime's all you need. But do you have any questions now about this? It looked more like a small coyote, perhaps, very small. And the children maybe like to think outside the children petted them as they would a goat or, a sheep.
You do or don't?
This is considered the most beautiful, we think. And they would do this beautiful work and then plaster it on both sides inside out. At this time, 1076, Chaco Canyon was putting walls around everything. They had this wall, we had this wall here, and a round kiva inside, which we'll see in a minute. And then 18 years later, remember that date, I'm going to test you. 18 years later, they built another one, we call the West Kiva, and they joined it right here. They built that buttress after the wall was constructed. At the same time, buttresses were being added to the great cathedrals in Europe. Parallelism in architecture, no fax machines, and consider getting that idea by smoke signals if possible. Well, now
Maybe it's right on the other side that we can't see.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm holding it right up. Still won't work.
It's hot up here.
It is located 4 miles into the park. There is no camping anywhere else in the park. We suggest that you stop first at the park to 5 p.m. The Archaeological Museum is located 21 miles into the park and is open daily from 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Health problems do not.
Go ahead. A whole bunch of them. Hold this. Huh? Hold it, Ryan, please. Just, hold it. No, you can hold it. that would be. Read me.
We're out of battery.
I don't see the numbers.
Huh?